Our computer screens contain a treasure trove of amazing stuff. Stuff that we want to capture, that we want to share, that we want to save. And we capture information on our screen using a tool called screen capture software. No surprise there. It's also sometimes called screen grabbing software, but not all screen capture software is created equal. Oh, no, no, no. In fact, there is royalty in the screen capture space, and that royalty is Snagit. Indeed, Snagit is the sovereign of screen grabbing. So if you want to capture information from your computer screen, be it video, be it text, be it websites, be it anything at all that appears on your computer screen, you are in the right place, because today we are exploring screen capture the way it should be. Snagit on Dottotech. Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? You know, we tend to think of screen capture software as something that's just kind of built into our system. We probably don't give it a lot of thought. We probably use our simple system tools to occasionally do a screen capture. But if you're doing it that way, you are missing so much, because Snagit is a tool that will completely redefine how you look at screen capture. Now, before we begin though, let me fill you in a little bit about this video. A couple of months ago, Techsmith, the creators of Snagit, reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to do some videos with them. And I said, would I? You bet, because I have been a customer of Techsmith, and actually I've had a Snagit license since 2016. For over 5 years now, I have been a customer, and it has become one of my daily drivers, a tool that I use each and every day. So I was really happy to be able to share how I use Snagit and what I think of Snagit with you. So thanks to Techsmith for sponsoring this video, and let's get into things. Yeah, let's get into it and see if I can show you why I've been using Snagit for 5 years. Now, when you install Snagit on your Mac, it will appear here in the top menu bar as a drop-down. This gives you access to the little control panel. And if you're in Windows, it's the exact same, except it's the opposite. It's down in the bottom, coming up from the tool tray. But this is a little control panel that allows us to control Snagit and control the type of capture we're going to create. Because Snagit will capture more than just still images. It will capture video, it will capture audio, it will capture scrolling images, it'll capture all of those different things. So that's why we need a control panel rather than just a simple hotkey for doing a screen grab. Now you can set up hotkeys within it as well, but for now I'll just show you the menu system here. So let's just start with the simple all-in-one capture. By all-in-one, it means it'll give you the option of choosing the type of capture you want once you've decided where it is on your screen that you want to capture. Because Snagit's always going to relate the capture to an area of the screen. So when I click capture, you get the expected crosshairs, which allow you to demark the area that you want to capture. Now, Snagit's got a lot of smarts built into it, so it'll automatically block out different areas of the screen. So here I'm in a web page, so it recognizes that I probably don't want to capture all of the toolbars in the web page. So if I just click here in the middle of the screen, it'll capture this whole screen. But if I start marqueeing, if I start selecting, it will then choose different preset sizes in order to, if we were going to be, say, creating a thumbnail image for a YouTube video, it's giving us here the proper dimensions for a typical widescreen HD image. So you have the option of all of those things. Once you've selected the area, then you have the choice of what type of capture you want to make. So if I click on this, the camera icon, it'll just take a picture. If I click on the video camera, you know what it's going to do. It's going to capture a video. And this is terrific if I'm going to be capturing a series of menus and a process on the screen that I want to capture. And this one here is interesting. This is called a panoramic scrolling capture. So what it'll do is, say you're working on a website with your team and you're designing a new website. And this will allow us to capture the entire website, to scroll down and capture the entire breadth of the website in a single capture, so that if you're annotating it, marking up, and having a conversation with your team about it, you have the whole file in one. It's not a series of screen captures of each individual screen. Very powerful. Once you're ready to go, you just simply click in the middle. I'm going to choose picture, and it takes a picture of whatever it is that you captured. Now here is where Snagit really separates itself from other screen capture tools. Typically speaking, if you do a screen capture using a system tool, it'll grab the image and then allow you to share it, maybe mark it up a little bit. But this is a full-blown graphics editor that's built into Snagit. And this is part of the magic of Snagit. This is where Snagit sets itself apart, because I've got along the top here all of these different tools for marking up and working with this image. And down on the bottom, I have a library of previous captures that I've had. This contains an entire library of all of the captures that I've made. So if I've got something that I've marked up, or a screen capture that I use regularly to tell people how to do something, I've got access to it here without capturing it again. It's a library that we can use as a resource as we move ahead. Now, typically speaking, you're going to use some of these different markup tools here in order to illustrate whatever it is you want to communicate with your team, or if you're using it. So if you want to add an arrow, you click on the arrow tool, and then the toolbar on the right-hand side here gives you your different options. And then you start drawing and you start marking up, and you do all of those sorts of things that you would expect to be able to do in a simple markup tool. You can all do right here within the Snagit capture window once you're in the editor. And the cool thing is, if you close it down and you go on with your day, and then you go back into the editor, we can just get back into the editor by clicking on Snagit again and saying here, open editor. You still have that image available to you, as well as all of the other images, and you can continue to mark it up if you choose to. I can, here, let's take a look at some of the more tools, and let's choose, let's say you want to hide something that you don't want, like is private, like a serial number or something like that, or a password. You can mark it up before you go to share it. Once you've finished with the image and you're ready to use it, you then have the option, all of these different options of sharing it. You can share it directly out to a variety of different applications like Dropbox. You can use it within Slack in order to communicate with your teammates. You can copy and paste it and use it in some other way. But you've got all of these different sharing options, and that's the normal flow of a screen capture. Typically speaking, when you're capturing a screen, it's because you want to use it to communicate. So being able to then take that screen capture, mark it up in some way to illustrate whatever it is you're thinking about, and then sharing it with whoever it is that you're capturing it for, that's the normal flow that we have on almost all of our screen captures. And Snagit performs that brilliantly. Now, to be fair, a lot of what I've just showed you, you can do in most system-based screen capture tools, ones that are built into your operating system. Capture an image, do a simple markup, and share it. But let's start to look at the more advanced features that are baked into Snagit. And the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the power of this library. The fact that we've got, if we look here in the bottom of this bin of all of our previous captures, if we click on the very top, we have the ability to view all of them in this library form. And this is a terrific browser that allows us to see historically all of the different images that we've grabbed, which as you look at it like this, you might think, well, that's so busy. How am I ever going to find exactly what it is I'm looking for if I've got a valuable capture from before? They've got this navigator built in that allows you to tag images if you want to tag them, so you can search based on tags, but you can also search based on image type. And here's the most useful as far as I'm concerned. This drop down here, applications, it shows you which applications you captured different images from. So if I say, for example, let me find something in here. If I said, I want to find a screen capture that I did when I was in my audio editing tool, which is Hindenburg right here. I click on that, and just the captures that I did within Hindenburg are listed out. Isn't that amazing? So I can go back in and I can take a look at the thing that I captured if I need to share it again. That gives you some real control, because information is only useful if you can get your hands on it when you want to share it. So having access to all of these different images here in the library and being able to sort them and store them in different ways so that we can recall them, it makes it far more valuable. So that is built in right away. So of course we can go back in and we can edit any of the images that we want at any time. So let's go back in and let's go back and show you a little bit more about the image editor, because I used to use Adobe Photoshop Elements, just the light version of Adobe Photoshop, for doing simple little editing tasks that I had on graphics. I have, since I started to use Snagit more and more, used Photoshop less and less, to the point where I haven't opened Photoshop in several years now, because I do almost all of my simple image editing here inside of Snagit. And you see along the top, I showed you a few of the tools, the blur tool, but there are all of these other tools that are available to us, including, by the way, the ability to do this. Let me find, it's not just, you don't have to just work with the image that you have, but if you want to bring another image in and combine images, let me grab this little screen capture that I had here, bring it in. And so you can compose images with from multiple screen caps. You can compose different types of images, edit them, resize graphics, and then ultimately take the entire graphic, flatten it down into a simple JPEG image to share it if you want, or leave it in layers like this, just like it is if it was in Photoshop, so that you can continue to edit and manipulate it. That's pretty cool, is it not? I think you'll agree. But I got to show you some of the other features that are built in here as well. As I say, you're going to want to spend some time and play with all of the different tools that there are. But built into the software, we've got the ability to say if we marquee a piece of text like this, we just put a marquee around it, and I right-click my mouse on it, I can grab the text. It takes the text and then it grabs it and it lifts it off the page and it turns it into editable text that I can copy into word processors. So if you have pages that you captured, screen captures of, that have a lot of text on it that you may want to utilize, reuse, or edit later on, you can convert it from a graphic image into text for editing right built in to this tool. They've thought of a lot with Snagit, I can promise you that. But here's the last thing that I want to show you here before I show you another use case within Snagit. And this is one of my favorite features in Snagit. This is the ability to do step graphics. If I click on this tool here, you'll see in the toolbar on the side, I've got all of these different images that I can use. And if I just go out here and say, this is first, this is second, and this is third, you see how it drops these little markers so that you can kind of have step graphics and you can illustrate different points if you're adding different annotation. Now, where this becomes really useful is I want to show you a bit of a use case. One of the really outstanding features, as far as I'm concerned, using a tool like Snagit, is being able to create step-by-step instructions so that you can delegate tasks to team members, or you can communicate to customers the proper procedure in order to enroll or to do to do some sort of different task. Now, for example, I'll just walk you through an example. I use a tool called Blink, which is a URL shortener. And whenever we create any new URLs that we want to share within the Dottotech brand, I create a Blink, a shortened link that has my simple branding, dott.to/ whatever it is that we want that topic to be. So I might want to teach an assistant how to create these links and properly put them into our catalog of links so that they're used properly and so that we can track them and we can see exactly how they're used. It's a simple process, but it's one that we do on a daily basis. And if somebody else could do it for me, it would save me a tremendous amount of time. So using Snagit, what I can do is I can go through and I can take a series of screenshots of each step, just like this. I just go through and do a screenshot of this particular image, capture it, and then go step by step. I'd go from Blink there, I'd go to a separate screen within Blink and walk you through the process. And I've already done this. This is like a cooking show where I've pre-baked all of the different graphics for you to do that. But here are the graphics that I created for that. This is the first one, which is I want you to do this, and I drew the arrow to this. And at this point here, I want you to do this first, then this, and I've explained each step of the way. And then finally, I want you to go into our spreadsheet and I want you to copy it into here so that we can have it in our library. It's just a simple kind of 3-step process that they have to go through. Now, let me show you the tools that they have built into here to help us do that. If I click on Create here in the library, what it does is it says, do you want to create an image from template? And yes, indeed, I do, because watch what happens. It has these templates where I can open them up and I can say, this is the template that I want to use. And when I choose that template, it has these blank images. It's kind of all pre-formed for me. So I can go through and I can grab each step that I created and drop it in. And then you can build out the rest of the text of each. I dropped the same one. I'll show you the final result here before we go. You can then frame them. You can resize the graphics. You can add text to them. And then you've got a wonderful tutorial document that you can save as a PDF or you can save as a graphic that you can share with your team, with your customers, with your clients. You can share it anywhere and you don't have to recreate it each time. So look at how good this is. I think it took me about 15 minutes to do this the first time, but I never have to explain this procedure again. So taking some time to create one of these documents for the procedures that you have to convey over and over again and are important, they are done correctly, that is pure gold. In these templates make it really easy. My imagination started to fire with different ways I could use this when I was first shown this feature. That's the template feature built into Snagit. Now, we've spent all of our time up to now just talking about using Snagit as a graphics tool, but Snagit will also capture video, either screen capture video, capturing our motion on the screen, or our video that comes from a webcam or from a digital camera of some sort. So let me just show you some of those additional features. Now I want to show you the video capabilities that is built into Snagit, and this is real screencasting. This is actually using the same sort of technology that I'm producing this video for you right now. So if we go over into Snagit here, and again, let's use an all-in-one again, so we can see all of the different options. Click capture. Now, instead of just capturing the main screen, I'm going to capture the top of the screen here, because I want to be able to see some menus and stuff, because typically speaking, when you're doing a screen capture like this, you're going to want to be able to move your mouse and your cursor around on the screen and to illustrate a process. You might want to use it as a tutorial, as a marketing tool, as instructions, as tech support, a lot of different ways that you might want to do this, but this is basic screen capture that we're doing right now. So once I've done that, I look down here in the bottom and I click on record video. When I do that, I get some new options. The first option I get is I can turn on my webcam, or I can just capture the screen itself. I can also choose to turn on or off my microphone at this point, but let's turn on the camera. And when I click on this, up pops, in this particular case, my webcam. So it's a little bit meta right now. You're viewing me on one camera, you see me here on the screen in another camera. So there's a few different things happening. But now we've set it up so that we can record. And if I click on the little caret here, I can choose different cameras if I have them installed on my computer. As well, I can choose different positions for the video to be in as I record. So this is very similar to some of the different screen capture tools that you might be paying for in order for doing quick little screen captures for, say, sending video emails or for doing quick little tutorials. It does those sorts of things. Once we're ready to record, we click on the record button and we get a countdown, because we want to make sure that we prepare and check that we don't have any lettuce in our teeth, and then we're recording. So what is happening right now is being recorded. So if I was going to be doing a bit of a tutorial where I wanted to show people how to choose their bookmarks or how to do anything at all within the computer screen, I have the opportunity to do that right now, to capture all of these different elements. And in fact, in the preferences, I can even choose whether or not you see the cursor or not, or you don't see the cursor, etc. But once this is all finished, we click stop. And then it takes the recording and it saves it again into the library. And here we have it in the library. And I'll play it back for you. We don't have any lettuce in our teeth. And then we're recording. So what is happening right now is being recorded. So now we can take this video and we can do simple basic trimming and editing on the video. But we have a great screencast that we can use to communicate, to educate, to market to. We can use it for all of those sorts of purposes. And because Techsmith, because Snagit is built as a sharing tool as well as a capture tool, we have the ability, if I go over here into the share menu, to take this and send it right away to screencast.com. So this will take this video, upload it to screencast.com, which you get a free account. When you sign up for Snagit, you get a free account with a limited amount of storage, but enough to certainly store these sorts of videos. And then you can just share that link with others. So this provides the same functionality as you might find in a tool like Loom, but you can do so much higher quality videos and so much higher quality work as far as sharing your content using Snagit. I guess I hate to use the term, but it is the Swiss Army knife for all things that on your screen to share with others. I think I better start wrapping things up, because as I look at the list of features and benefits within Snagit that I wanted to cover when I started, I realize I'm just a little over halfway through all of the benefits that I wanted to share with you. But I think I've given you a good idea of the value that Snagit brings and why it's a tool that is indispensable for me. And you know, the thing that you should consider is from the time that I invested in Snagit 5 years ago to today, it has increased its value to me, because every time I share a graphic that I can reuse and repurpose over and over again, it increases its equity as far as I'm concerned, because I don't have to go and grab that graphic again in order to share it. I've got it there in my library, or video. So it just increases its value the longer that you use it. And that's why I'd be really reticent to use any other tool. The value of the sharing and the library, as well as the editing, that all just comes together to kind of make a perfect cocktail, as far as I'm concerned, for my screen capture tool. Well, I'm going to wrap things up, as I said. So if you have enjoyed this video, I would love you to hit that like button. Share any comments, suggestions with us in the comment. And as all the cool kids on YouTube say, pound that subscribe button, and we will see you next time right here on Dottotech. Until then, have fun storming a castle.